Life, merriment.
Survival for expats.
In the concrete forest.
On Friday nights.
That.
Hi guys, welcome back to You Can't Sit With Us, the weekly show where we get wasted. Cheers, 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 cheers.
Cheers. None of you looked me in the eye.
I tried. I don't like looking people in the eye. Yeah, I don't like to look people in the eye.
But it was you that was always like slapping me for not looking in your eye.
No, I'd slap you because you'd cheers and then you wouldn't drink.
Oh,
and
no,
you'd
bad.
go cheers and then you'd stop talking and put your drink down. That's why I'd slap you. I don't care if you don't look me in the eye.
No, but you'd always be like...
That's definitely not me.
It is you.
I've never had that superstition.
All right, Mummy and Daddy are fighting.
I don't even talk to people, look them in the eye. I just look at the camera.
No, it was definitely you because you'd be like... in your little gassy way.
That does sound like the truffle bigs.
You look me in the eyes, I can't look.
I feel like that would just be like something else though. I feel like I was getting angry about something else.
Probably.
I hate when people are like, look me in the eyes. I hate that. Ugh.
Oh,
Look into my eyes,
Can
Willie.
I hate these two.
Perry.
Oh.
They are not my friends.
You want to go?
So guys, we actually had like a topic to discuss. We watched this documentary series called Hot Girls Wanted. You haven't seen it.
I've seen 2 episodes.
Oh, you've seen 2 episodes. Okay. So this is, you guys can watch it on Netflix. They're not sponsoring us, but it's called Hot Girls Wanted. And it's not the 2015 one, it's the
new one, Turned
it's a new
On.
one. Still directed by Rashida Jones, though.
Yeah. But it basically tackles issues of sex and technology.
Pretty much.
So do you guys have any thoughts?
Okay, so my thought, I binge watched the whole season.
I thought it was good, but it didn't get that good reviews. So
Look,
it was interesting.
I thought it was okay. I think the biggest thing was they focused one whole episode on Tinder. And I think...
But they only focused it on one guy.
Yeah, it was one guy who didn't, to me, he wasn't quite the right person to represent Tinder. He was almost pathetic. It's like sort of focusing on an alcoholic when you're trying to think about alcohol as a whole general. So I found like that was really misguided. I mean, the other stuff I thought was really good. And then especially the last episode where I understand they were going for a really powerful punch with this girl that...
I fell asleep during that one. I thought that wasn't
good, right?
But my problem with the one, because I've only seen the first 2 episodes and the Tinder one is the second episode. I found with that one though, like...
It seemed fake, right?
It did seem fake because it's like, okay, so you're going to follow this guy with his relationships and all of a sudden like he's going to it did seem fake, but also at the same time, it's not representative of all Tinder relationships. They did touch on really good parts and I do think they do have some really good parts.
Like the ghosting thing is true. Like,
yeah, the ghosting thing.
If you guys don't know what ghosting is, that's if you're texting somebody online and maybe you go out for dinner and they just stop texting you and you don't know what you've done wrong.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of this 100%.
I think everyone is.
But I used to do it all the time. Like I just and I'd never give a reason.
And my thing is also like when I was on Tinder, and I think we spoke about this in previous episodes before. Like I would be so ruthless. Like Cassie would like shout at me for not giving people a chance. So it'd be like, I don't like that they said hi and didn't follow it up. I don't like that they didn't ask me interesting questions.
I didn't picky. And also, but you'd be like, oh, I think he thinks somebody else, or like that sort of thing. And you were very like tunnel vision when it comes, like you want the guy who's very specific with, but I mean it's good to know what you want.
Yeah, but that's why it worked out so well with like Tom, because he is everything I wanted. He was my friend first. Like I always said, like I could never.
That is always what you wanted to have.
I never wanted to be with a guy that wasn't my friend first. So I'd always create this friendship, and then guys are like, so like I'm in the friend zone. I'm like, well, let's just see where it goes. And that's not what people are on Tinder for.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you've not used Tinder.
I've completely missed out on the whole Tinder brigade. Like when I got to get together with my boyfriend Seb, I'd just gotten an iPhone.
Yeah.
Like the Facebook app was just a thing. And it was like Messenger didn't exist.
Yeah. Well, Messenger didn't exist until fairly recently.
Yeah. But it's like this, I don't know, to me watching that documentary, someone who never used Tinder, I was bored. I didn't believe it.
So if you guys want to summarize what the documentary.
So the guy he was like a winner or he was a contestant on Big Brother in the US a couple of years ago. People really found him attractive.
A long time ago, like it was like a 10-year ago.
Yeah, like 2006, something like that, right? And he's a good-looking chap, and he works in LA, Las Vegas now, and you see him like swipe through. He's like, no. He already ghosted this one girl, and then he's like, oh, I really like this girl, Alexis. Blah, blah, blah. They go, and Alexis is like, oh, I think she's really great. then they text when they're drunk, and she makes fun of him being
older.
15 years older. She's like, "Oh, you old man," blah 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 blah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He just takes it the wrong way and flips out and is like, "I don't want to speak to you again." And like he just off bans that. But I think that's so common in people that like, "You've hurt my feelings." There's everybody else.
It's common in like guys who think they're alpha males. I tend to like, and especially and they don't tend to be alpha males anyway. I hate that phrase anyway. I find it so like damaging and like patriarchal and like masculinity based. But like it is like very much like guys who think they're alpha males. You say like one thing to upset them and they'll go off. I know so many guys like that. You tease them about like one little thing, and I can't have a relationship.
And they go in for the huff. Like you need that
really
banter.
Sensitive.
Someone that can like
Yeah.
Have you ever had that experience with a guy when you've like ribbed them about one small, like even with friends though? I'm not going to mention any friends obviously that I have here, but I have guy friends who think they're so like hyper masculine, and you'll make fun of them about one small thing.
But the problem with that is like there's so many guys that are like, haha, yeah, banter, 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 and they use it as an excuse to be an asshole. So when you're like, okay, you think this is banter, I'm gonna say something of a similar line of respect, and they get so upset, they're like, oh, you fucking, and then they start calling you like a dirty whore, a fat cunt, blah blah blah. Yeah. Like they just go off on one, and it's like,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but I mean, have you ever had that situation with that? With guys?
Look,
because you have a lot of guy friends.
I've got a lot of guy friends, and that's the problem is I've got one friend in particular, he always sulks. Like, you make fun of him too much. I'm going to say it, he's one of those people that he's always the one that hurts your feelings because he takes it too far. But the moment you push his buttons, he sulks, and it's like, no, fuck you guys, I'm going home. Yeah. And it becomes really frustrating after a while because you're like, well,
I mean, can you imagine, like, so the problem with Tinder is that everything, I mean, up until you meet each other, everything is done through text. And, like, I just got a phone recently, so I know how easily it can be misconstrued through, like, text. And you don't realize until you make that transition.
But, I mean, even before when you had a phone, you had an iPad. Like,
yeah, I know, but I mean, but, like, as in, like, I'm communicating with people a lot more through text rather than, like, calling them. I mean, I mean, especially I'm talking about my relationship, right? Like, usually if I need something, I'll call Garen. But, like, it's so easy to misconstrue things. So if you, like, it's so easy to like have a massive
I agree
falling out. So anyway, so that was the second episode. They talked about that. I thought one of my favorite episodes was the first one.
What happened in the first one?
It was the porn direction, how porn industry photography is changing.
And
they wanted because of the age of the internet, like you need to churn out content constantly, and so the quality becomes less.
Yeah. And also, like what I found the most interesting about that particular section was like the statistics about when women first view porn, right? So women, well, actually both sexes, the average age is 11 years old when you first see. I mean, how old were you guys when you first? I mean, I saw it by accident.
Yeah, I don't know.
When I was like, there was like a
middle
pop-up.
school,
there was like a pop-up when I was like 12 or something. But I think it was quite late for me because everybody had talked about it and I was sort of grossed out by it. Because I only saw porn maybe like...
I only saw like really gross porn first. I didn't see actually nice porn because it was all the stuff like people sharing around like, this is a woman having sex with a horse and this is a man
woman with a baseball bat up her
ass, and he was around the era that
I've never seen anything like that.
Oh,
it's not good.
But we're of the era of 2 girls 1 cup, so like...
I never saw that either.
Blue waffle.
Yeah.
I've heard about all these things.
So I never saw, so I never saw like really good porn, and even now I don't watch porn, but you gave me a really good suggestion. You said watch lesbian porn, because lesbian porn's about the woman. When you watch porn, generally, it's just all about like the man's pleasure, what a man wants.
Oh,
and
this is my dick, and I
and she loves
hammer time you or whatever.
Yeah, and I think it's really problematic because I think guys think that this is what sex is, especially teenagers.
Yeah, like, I mean that was the whole like concept of that episode, right? There was like porn is for a lot of people their sex education.
Yeah.
And these female directors were talking about how like as porn directors you have like a responsibility to women and to like young men as well to sort of show them what healthy sex is.
Yeah. I want to see porn where people like laugh. Yeah. Where people do like silly things, because like I don't know, I don't have very serious sex, but it's always like and then like 24/7. Like I don't scream the house down.
Oh no, I hate that.
And it's like
I'm a screamer.
No, but like these girls in porn, you watch them, they're sitting there like, come here. It's like the moment he touches them, they're like, ah! Like, you're like, no, that's not how it works.
But then it also like inflates guys' egos as well, especially those on Tinder, because they think, what you are coming, are you frigid?
Yeah.
What you are doing is something wrong with you, and it's like, no, you just my clitoris is not on the inside.
No.
Like you can't use your finger. It just
Yeah.
But there's
like
a few issues there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not quite
But
there.
like, yeah, I mean, I think it's also, I mean, not that the documentary was talking about Hong Kong, but Hong Kong is the fact that there is so much choice out there.
Yeah.
And there is like this like
I think
hookup
everywhere.
culture. But I think it's just so much, like you have more money here and there's like, and it's like a lot harder for people to like focus more on like sexuality and the importance of like.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of, I mean, it's bad from both ways because I know there's a lot of people in Hong Kong that are like, oh, first question they do is like, oh, what do you do? So as if his job and his status is the most important thing before who he is as a person. And then they think because they've met so many girls like that they can treat them like shit because they only want him for his money.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like just a weird balance.
But yeah, especially sexually, I think.
Well, what do you think about the interracial element that's sort of added in over here?
So yeah, so there was another episode which was about interracial porn, which I mean, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I found it kind of interesting because for those who haven't watched the episode, a lot of people probably haven't. I remember they had an interview with a black actor, and I remember he said that no other industry in the world would be paid extra to work with a black person, whereas in porn, girls are added.
Yeah.
They get added things onto their pay
Because
to do it with.
apparently, like in the porn industry, that will lower their value if they've been seen, and that's fucking crazy to think about that like that.
Because of dick size?
I have,
No,
I'm going to say,
no,
I have a
just-
little problem with that though, because I can understand a girl being concerned because black guys have massive dicks.
They don't all do.
I
don't know.
I mean, but in porn,
In general, yeah.
I'm going to say, but in porn,
Yeah.
male actors are picked because they have big dicks
Yeah.
and they can keep a hard on. If those girls are looking at those dicks and going, I will genuinely hurt myself, I need more of a pay for the risk taken here, then I'm okay with it.
But my thing is that I don't think it was in this documentary, but I think it was another documentary I watched where that like it just lowers a girl's value, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's such like a messed up thing to say.
Yeah.
Like they were like, a woman does interracial porn, and they were saying in this documentary that interracial doesn't mean an Asian woman and a white guy. It doesn't mean, a white woman and an Asian dude. It means specifically a white girl and a black guy, right? That's what they're saying. They were like, interracial porn, nobody calls, in the business, nobody calls any other kind of interracial porn like that. So that's a very,
So what would they call it if it was like an Asian dude and a white girl? Like if you and Gary made porn, like what would it be called?
I don't know. But they were saying that's the only way they use it.
What a funny title could be for you and Gary. Pearl of the Orient.
That'd be funny if my name was Pearl.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Michelle's middle name is Pearl. That's her porn name.
There we go.
Pearl.
Paul Shanel.
Pearl Shane.
Pearl Shane. She
Yeah.
likes her pearl necklaces.
But yeah, there is a lot of interesting. There were a lot of interesting things in this documentary. If you guys want to.
So yeah, go to Netflix, check it out. Let us know what you think on next week's episode. We're going to head to a second commercial break now, so join us after these few notes. We love you guys.
Bye!
Bye.
經錯過我哋精彩嘅節目，而家上嚟呢個網址就可以訂閱晒我哋8大頻道，付費之後仲可以重溫晒所有精彩嘅節目。記得要訂閱我哋嘅 YouTube Channel 同埋讚好我哋嘅 Facebook 專頁啊！